Hi, this is Merrill and Kristi Jenks with the Big Helper Group at eXp Realty, and today we are doing a fun episode called Underrated or Overrated. We're going to be going through some random topics, some of them real estate related, some of them not, letting you know whether we think those items are underrated or overrated.
To start off, a real estate one, appraisals, overrated or underrated?
Hold on, I got to sign on already. I've got so many conflicting thoughts about this one. I can't decide.
1, 2, 3.
Overrated.
All of that for just a...
No, I'm still on the fence. I'm still on the fence about my answer. So, obviously no one wants to overpay. So the appraisal is important in that concept to make sure that, that the appraisal meets the value that you've offered to pay. But the real reason for an appraisal has nothing to do with the buyer. Yeah. The lender is requiring the appraisal to make sure that their investment is protected, and they are often wrong. I'm serious.
It's crazy.
The appraiser is just one person's opinion of what a house is worth. And yes, there's a specific format to it, but we've successfully disputed several appraisals and got the values on them changed simply because the appraiser didn't use the right comps, or they didn't use the right adjustments, or they had square footage or lot size wrong. We have had several times where the appraisal was wrong.
The appraisal does matter, right? If you can't bring a ton of cash over appraised value, then the appraisal absolutely matters. But I agree, appraisals are completely subjective. We've had appraisals come in $25,000 difference in a 5-day period, right?
On the same property.
Yeah, same property, nothing changed, just the person.
Two different people.
So properly rated because it does matter if you don't have cash to pay above the appraised value.
Yep.
Got to take that in.
Bitcoin, overrated or underrated? In 3, 2, 1.
Underrated.
No idea. Seriously, I've been hearing about it for a long time, but legitimately, it just seems like funny money to me. I know I need to learn more about it. I don't know.
I don't profess to be some mega blockchain, Bitcoin, crypto expert. However, I feel like I've got a reasonably decent understanding of what it is and how it works. I know when it first came out, I was like, so it's just some made up current, I didn't, but when I learned a little bit more about kind of how it works and it's really just a store of wealth, a store of value that in my opinion is actually better than gold. So once that becomes more widely known, more widely accepted, people, get a better understanding of why Bitcoin is actually better than gold for storing value and wealth and protecting against inflation and those kinds of things. I think we're going to continue to see Bitcoin go up dramatically over a long period of time. Yes, it's going to have some bubbles, it's going to have some ups and downs, just like anything, but I think Bitcoin's going to do very, very well.
Zillow, overrated or underrated? In 3, 2, 1.
Overrated.
Oh my gosh. Completely overrated because most of the time, guys, their data is inaccurate. It's not up to date. If I'm in another market, I will totally jump on Zillow just to see what's going on. But when you need accurate information, you gotta engage with a real estate professional. My
probably biggest beef with Zillow is that they don't really prominently display when a house is under contract. Mm-hmm. And you gotta remember, right now we have 3 times more pending listings than we have active listings. But on Zillow, unless you look very carefully, they all look like they're active.
Yeah.
And so it can be really misleading because you think there's all these properties that are available and 3/4 of them are pending.
Tesla, overrated or underrated? In 3, 2, 1.
Underrated.
The stock, overrated. The car, I'm not sure.
I think the car, yeah. I say underrated because they have such a loyal fan base, right? And I think it just hasn't caught up with mainstream. In terms of the normal consumer, right? Who owns a Tesla? Is it the same person that owns a Honda? Maybe, maybe not. But once you get in, I think it's addictive. And you're like, it's a massive fan club.
I'm just thinking of this really funny J.P. Sears video. If you guys aren't familiar with J.P. Sears
He's hilarious.
on YouTube, he's got this thing about, how he has his Tesla to show off how wealthy he is. I have actually never ridden in a Tesla or even driven a Tesla, and I've been warned not to because once I do it, I will be addicted and have to buy
That's
one.
what I'm saying. Like, it's got a massive, massive fan club. But also, are we talking Tesla or are we talking electronic,
Well, like
electric vehicles?
everything Elon Musk, right? I mean, that documentary we watched of those like simultaneously landing fuel tank rocket launcher things. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was
Unbelievable.
crazy.
All right, so back to real estate. The list price on a home, overrated or underrated? 3, 2, 1.
Overrated.
I like it when we agree.
Yeah, it's fine. Doesn't happen very often. Listen, I was on the phone with a buyer just this morning who said, well, I would never pay more than what someone is asking for on a house. And what I said was, okay, the list price is just a random number. Maybe not random. Maybe there was some science behind it, but it could be random. I could have a house that's worth $500,000 and I could choose to list it for $1. I could also choose to list it for $1 million. What I'm asking has nothing to do with what it's worth. Okay, get with a competent real estate professional, look at the comparable sales, and determine what the house is worth and what's it worth to you.
Listen, there was a time, not right now, 2021 is not the time where you go in low and bid up to what you want to pay. That's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. But you're exactly right. The list price is just a suggestion. And that's also assuming, right? You said random. And there are people that don't know how to run comps. Like, there are realtors, we've worked with some, and it's amazing because they will argue until we bring them the appraiser and the appraiser proves us right.
Yeah.
There are people that don't know how to run comps. So the list price is assuming that the realtor knew how to list the price, but also there are different pricing strategies. Like, one of the things we talk about with our clients is what is going to be our pricing strategy, right? Do we list right at market value? Do we go in high? Do we go in low? Because those are 3 different strategies.
Yeah, we see homes all the time where sometimes the seller intentionally lists it low because they want to create a ton of competition. We see other times where the seller intentionally lists it high because they want to create, they want to have room to negotiate.
Yeah.
So the list price,
overrated.
way overrated.
All right, so the last one. I would like you guys to explain how Tom Brady's underrated in 3, 2, 1.
I love it. Hey, here, it's so funny. We're like, okay, well, so do you think he's overrated or underrated? I think he's underrated.
Underrated.
Yeah, sure.
In my opinion, we were having this after the last Super Bowl win, there was a big conversation all over social media. There's really no question that he's the greatest quarterback of all time. That's just a given.
Yeah.
But now people are talking about him being the greatest professional athlete in all sports. A lot of people heavily value Brady, so it's a little hard to say he's underrated, but he obviously is absolutely incredible and it's been impressive.
Hey, I don't even like fake football. We planned an open house during Super Bowl because I didn't even realize that it was Super Bowl.
We had to modify the open house time. Oh, that's the Super Bowl.
Apparently there's some football game going on. I don't know. But here's my thing with Tom Brady is that he makes it look so easy. But we all know the hours and hours of commitment and dedication to his craft. His discipline is so incredible, and I respect that. So I do think he's underrated because he just has the discipline. He makes it happen, right? He put himself in a position, right, with, again, don't even know football that well, but from what I gather, it wasn't like they were going to the Super Bowl before Tom.
Brady.
Right. And I loved how much he built the team up in all of the interviews, right? At least the interviews that I saw, he did not make it all about him. He gave a lot of gratitude to a lot of different people and all of the players and the coaches and even his previous coaches. So
I got to add one thing though here. Yes, Brady, incredible, but who's really underrated in this Super Bowl game was the Buccaneers defensive line.
They were awesome.
Yeah, yes, Brady played well, but the Buccaneers defensive line totally won that game for them. So I want to give them a shout out.
They're the guys
totally
that
underrated.
were tackling the other team.
Yeah, they were the guy that were going after the quarterback.
I saw that other quarterback get sacked quite a few times. So if that's who you're talking about,
Yes.
they were on point. They were on point. Thanks so much for tuning into Underrated or Overrated. We actually love shooting this
A lot
bit.
of
So
fun.
if you're curious, our feelings on anything, I don't know why you would be, but we'd love to have some more suggestions on overrated or underrated. And as of course, make sure to check out our YouTube channel. We're constantly trying to put out some additional content that's going to help you make decisions when it comes to buying and selling real estate. And also, we have a whole new channel dedicated to real estate agents and investors and just basically, self-development. So make sure to check out Kristi Merrills' YouTube channel as well as the Big Helper Realty Group.